stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name's Dave Miller. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy. In Part 1 of E.D.L for Hope, Jeff Mitchell and Jan Rennie of the English Defense League radio program and myself discussed the need for and recognition of a growing wave of resistance to world Islamization and the need for a positive outlook, even in today's geopolitical arena where so-called leaders in many countries seem to have capitulated to Islam in the name of diversity, political correctness, and multiculturalism. Now in Part 2, we present examples of nations and people prepared to meet Islam's threat with bold action in the defense of their own cultures.
Now, we know the Czechoslovakian president speaks out against Islam, and now, have you got the story, Jan, or Dave, have you got the story that the Hungarian Prime Minister, what he had to
I've
say?
got it. This one comes from ABC News here in the United States. The headline is, Hungary's PM Orban, Islamization banned by Constitution. This is by Pablo Gorandi of the Associated Press, and this is from Budapest, and it's dated April the 25th. Hungary's constitution bans Islamization because the document aims to protect Hungarian language and culture, Prime Minister Viktor Orban said on Monday. To be clear and unequivocal, I can say that Islamization is constitutionally banned in Hungary, Orban said in Parliament at an event celebrating the 5th anniversary of Hungary's new constitution, now known as the Basic Law. Orban was quoting from the National Alvowal, the Basic Law's preamble, which details the country's commitment to promoting and safeguarding our heritage, our unique language, Hungarian culture, and the protection of the living conditions of future generations. Hungary maintains that the migrant issue is a matter of national sovereignty. Yes, since when did you hear anybody in the UK or the United States governments talking about that? We have the right to choose whom we want and don't want to live with, Orban said. Okay. Can we get these guys to the U.S. president? Never mind. Hungary has built razor wire fences on its southern borders to stop migrants from passing through to other European nations. Orban has said he wants zero migrants in the Eastern European nation. Before the fences, nearly 400,000 migrants entered Hungary in 2015 on their way to richer nations in Western Europe. Hungary has sued the EU at the European Court of Justice to avoid having to take part in an EU plan to resettle migrants. The government is also organizing a national referendum over the EU quotas meant to rally political support for the anti-immigrant position. There you are, guys. That's the crux of that story. Now, that's the kind of thing, since I read it, I'm going to get first crack, that we need to see done in all of our nations. If this guy was running in the third party for president of the United States, he would have quite a following. But he's talking about, and not just him, but the lawmakers of Hungary are talking about things like national sovereignty and protecting their language and culture. You never hear our leaders talking about those.
It looks like the future could be moving to Czechoslovakia or moving to Hungary because people have seen common sense and doing the right thing for the people and their nation. It seems very sad that our countries and our nations are not listening and doing what these other people are doing, the right thing for their people. Unfortunately, we live with a time where politicians are the appeasers, are the apologists, are the dimmies. So it makes it hard. But we are seeing common sense. I'm looking at the Eastern Bloc countries, Dave. When you look at Czechoslovakia, their president has spoke about Islam, and now you've got the Hungarian Prime Minister speaking about sovereignty and guarding their heritage and their culture and their language. How important is that to people, and how it must have resonated amongst the Hungarian people as well? What you said was very powerful.
You know what? I want to give Jan a shot at this. Just before that, I just want to say that this is the difference right here between countries that have people who don't have generations who have recently lived under oppression versus countries that do have that. So these Eastern European countries know what it was like to have the boot of the Soviet Union on their necks and living under the kind of oppression that brought. They don't want it. They got rid of it from the Soviet Union, and they sure as hell don't want it now from Islam. They recognize oppression for what it is, and they recognize Islam for what it is, which is a bringer of oppression. And if you're listening to this program and you're a progressive from any country, you need to understand this and recognize it. They know oppression when they see it. They know an oppressive political ideology when they see it, and they see it in Islam. And I'd like for Jan to take a crack at this.
First of all, I'll start off with Hungary and their stance on this Islamic crap that we've got surrounding every country. If you look up Christian Defence League, we have a Christian Defence League Hungarian page, Hungary.
Yes.
It's run by Hungarians that are admins, and you can easily translate. However, I haven't looked at it for the last couple of days because I'll leave it to the Hungarians to get on with it, but whether they've put any of these demos in there, I'm not sure. I would have to have a look. But you're welcome to go on Christian Defence League Hungary if you want to keep on top of what's going on in Hungary.
Awesome.
Kudos to them. I have to give a shout-out to Poland because we also got a Christian Defence League Poland. Well, it's affiliated to us. It's not actually ours, but the Poles run it, obviously. But they do contact us, and this morning I posted about a demonstration which happened on yesterday, 75,000 people on the streets.
Wow.
It was organised by the Catholics. It was organised by the Catholics, and they had banners with Mary and Jesus in the photographs. If you go on our own CDL, Christian Defence League, and scroll down, you'll see them. And I always translate when it's Polish so that you don't have to bother. Again today, tens of thousands, I think it was mentioned 50,000. The Polish will not have these migrants, as they're called, in their country. They have now got a right-wing political party in power. They're getting pressure from all sides. You might know Merkel and whatever, and the rest of them. They're taking not 1/8 of the notice. And as you're saying, with Hungary, they are also out on the streets in their tens of thousands, as is Poland. And kudos to these people. Again,
yes.
The Poles have said we have been dictated, that we have been held back for decades by different organisations and communist parties, and they will not have Islam rule them. They want their sovereignty, as does Hungary.
In Part 3 of E.D.L for Hope, we discuss the general election in the United States of America and how its results will affect the pro-civil rights movement worldwide. That's it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye. The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2016 Anno Domini.